Huntington Beach, California, and tonight is making his UFC debut. Please welcome John the Machine Lober. And his opponent, he is a submission fighter with a UFC record of 3-0. Fighting out of San Jose, California, he stands 5 feet, 10 inches tall, and weighs in at 195 pounds. He is the UFC middleweight champion of the world. Please welcome Frank Shamrock.
They have fought common opponents. John Lober lost to Kevin Jackson in Extreme Fighting. He drew against Igor Zinoviev. Shamrock defeated both of those gentlemen in under 30 seconds. A question remains, has Frank improved that much since January of 1997, the Super Brawl in Hawaii? We are set for the middleweight championship of the world in the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Move to that corner right there. Get your spot. Get your spot. It's for the UFC middleweight championship. Are you ready?
Big John checking the corner
you
of
ready?
Lober.
Let's get it
And
on.
we are underway. 15 minutes with 2 3-minute overtimes if needed. The belt on the line.
To your left. To your left. There you go. Cut it off. Don't walk into him. Let him come. Make him fight. Cut it off. Cut it off. Cut it off. Cut it off. Aggressively.
Seems as though Lober's trying to draw Shamrock to him.
Frank cut, he kicked, he spun, and Lober looks. Lober, a very intense young man. Very intense in our meetings. Trying to pull Frank down.
Single leg.
Frank showing great strength and balance.
Good balance right here. Lober's kind of indecisive whether he should trip here with this single leg and knock Frank down. Frank has that underhook, which could cause some rolling once they hit the ground. Lober may not like that. That's why he's spacing out right here, hanging on. Guillotine choke now.
Pat Miletich, away from the main fight, has a video camera, videoing this for himself. He wants Shamrock later. Shamrock wants the choke. He's got Lober up and now down.
Side mount. And I guarantee you that choke was sunk good. You saw Lober literally lift himself up, just prying himself off of Shamrock.
Well, John Lober has an incredible tolerance for pain. In Pancras, he had his leg broken in a leg lock and never reacted. His opponent had to tell the referee that his leg was broken.
I was there, Mike. He never whimpered. He never did a thing. In fact, when we saw him laying in the ring, it looked like he didn't even realize he was injured.
It's going to take a lot to make that man tap. Unfazed in the first matchup in Hawaii when Frank knocked his 2 front teeth out.
Basically, Lober has a quasi-cradle on Shamrock, leg in the head, keeping Shamrock from really being able to do anything from the side mount. After the scramble ensues, Lober's trying to get up here. Again, Shamrock trying to work that guillotine choke. Lober pushes him into the fence. Look for him to try to rip the legs out now of Shamrock and knock him down.
Frank tries to deliver to the backside. 2 minutes, 20 seconds into our middleweight championship. And back down to the ground it goes.
Half guard by Shamrock, still maintaining head control of Lober.
Now the Machine Lober said he knows Frank is crafty on the ground. He did admit that. Wasn't quick to compliment his opponent, but he did assess that of Frank's talents yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much bad blood there is. They don't come right out and say it, but it seems as they start to talk about one another, ill feelings start to come out, or they're not real complimentary. And you're right, it's tough to get something positive said about the other person out of these. He wants to finish this on the ground, does Lober. He feels cardio is to his advantage, and he feels he strikes hard.
Well, they come from different backgrounds to this climax of their fighting careers tonight. I mean, Frank was always Ken's little brother. Didn't start training till '94. And he has been spectacular in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. The most decorated champion, perhaps especially after tonight, with a 4th title possibility. And John Lober used to tape himself fighting guys on his VCR in his own garage and sent them towards John Peretti, advanced through Extreme Fighting. He said, I marketed myself, I am here tonight. Different paths to a similar result, a similar desire to claim the belt at the end of this evening's contest.
Lober trying to crank the neck and shoulder of Shamrock. Shamrock very comfortable in there. Going ahead and throwing some strikes to Lober's ribs and midsection. Lober now blocking. Some effective striking by Shamrock here. Nice elbow, quick short forearm to Shamrock's face. And again, Shamrock hits him back. Shot to the head. Not a lot of power on that shot because you're laying on your back, but it scores.
Come on.
Now we saw Frank go 16 and a half minutes with Jeremy Horn. We know Frank's conditioning is impeccable.
Choke attempt by Lober. Shamrock reverses him, and this is something Shamrock likes to do, is put his head in the belly so that he gets good leverage and is able to work his way out of the guard. Lober blocking with his knee.
We haven't seen Frank with a lot of kicks, but he tried one a moment ago, Jeff. And he knows the rules well. He waited for Lober to get back on his feet, then delivered the strike with the feet.
Well, as opposed to Williams, who clearly let Kasaka get up on his own with absolutely no threat, Shamrock threatened as soon as Lober came up and was able to try to get that kick to the head.
Shamrock again has Lober in his guard.
It's a long fight. I'm sure Shamrock doesn't mind being here. He's pretty tough in the guard position. And Lober wants nothing to do with Frank grabbing his head anymore. That early choke probably is firmly in his memory.
Now Lober says he just wishes when they met in Hawaii that Frank would have said, John Lober beat me tonight. Instead, at least Lober states that Frank said that he and I were friends and that he couldn't bring himself to hurt me, and that's why he got his butt kicked for 30 minutes. He said he didn't know Frank Shamrock. I'd only seen him on video. Lober says, I'm the Rodney Dangerfield of the sport. I beat Frank and he gets all the press. Lober wants vengeance tonight. Let's see if we can hear Maurice Smith as Lober sits in front of him and John McCarthy brings them back to their feet. 6'10".
Kick to the leg. Lober's kick didn't score. It was blocked by Shamrock.
Frank has definitely improved his striking with the help of Maurice
Smith. That one hurt. You saw his leg buckle.
And the big mark on the back of the machine's leg. And Frank again going for strikes with the legs. He's got the new toys from Maurice. He likes to use them.
I don't know. It looks like Lober's breathing pretty hard there. Shamrock looking good here. Looking fresh.
Aggressive.
Right hand by Shamrock. Shamrock wants him up.
Two good submission guys going toe-to-toe.
Another good leg kick.
Frank has him in the corner, pushed up against the fence.
Lober looks
trying
tired.
to strike.
Lober looks tired.
Delivers a knee to the head of John Lober. And now a big shot. And another. Shamrock clearly in control here. Delivers another strike. And now it goes to the ground and Lober's cut.
Somebody's cut. I can't see the cut on Lober.
It's Lober's forehead, partner.
A good sequence by Frank Shamrock, mixing kicking and punching, using the kick as the jab and following it up with the right hand. And it is definitely Lober's right eye.
Frank has put him down, and now John McCarthy breaks them up, and it is over. Frank Shamrock retains his middleweight belt for the 4th time. Frank Shamrock is our middleweight champion of the world. A TKO. McCarthy stops the fight at 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Great striking displayed by the champion, Frank Shamrock. He and Lober sharing a moment of great class as we go back to a replay look of the big strike, boom, there, that opened the eye of John the Machine Lober. John McCarthy, as always, with the fighter's safety in mind, can stop the fight when he renders one of the fighters unable to intelligently defend himself. I don't know if I could see a tap as Frank worked the ribs. I'm looking at the hands as you are on the replay, as Frank just kept working over John Lober.
Still, UFC middleweight champion of the world, Frank Shamrock.
And Shamrock wins at 7:40 of our middleweight championship bout. There's the tap. It was a tap. It was a tap. John Lober tapped at 7:40. Our champion is with Jeff Blatnick inside the octagon.
Again, I'm with Bob Meyerowitz of SEG and our middleweight champion retaining his title, Frank Shamrock. Bob.
Frank, congratulations again. You're like the greatest champion we've had. I don't know what you're going to do with all these. You're going to have to hire people just to carry them in. Congratulations on another great fight.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks a lot. You give me a second here to talk. I want to give a shout out to my brother Ken for supporting me, and I wish he was here right now. To all my people, this was not just me out here. It was Javier Mendez, Vic Chiropractic from my Vic, Maurice Smith, all my friends that got me here. That's what's really important. And you better keep making these, Bob. You better keep making them.
That's right, baby.
Frank, what was your true game plan when you walked in here against Lober?
I didn't tell you that in the pre-fight because I wanted to mess with you, Jeff. My plan was to beat the crap out of him. I really didn't like what he was saying and how he was carrying himself, so I made him quit. I made him tell me to stop. I made him say, I quit, I give up, please don't hit me anymore. I made him cry uncle.
You put a tremendous combination of kicks followed by punches. Almost you used the kick as a jab to set up that right hand.
Well, those compliments of Maurice Smith and Javier Mendez. Couldn't have done it without him. It was effective. I think you saw it on his face.
Earlier this evening, in a battle between Brazilians, Vitor Belfort, as a middleweight now, probably the fastest hands in the UFC. Your thoughts, and what do you think of him as an opponent?
Bring him on. Bring them all on. Nobody's going to beat me. Nobody.
Well, Frank, you had a tough performance against Jeremy Horn. It was a last-minute replacement. You didn't have time really to study him in any way. Perhaps you were caught off guard. But do you think that this performance tonight vindicates that you are the middleweight champion of the UFC?
I'm the man. But I tell you what, tonight wasn't my best. I can do better, a lot.
Well, hey, I'll tell you what, we've seen nothing but improvement since you entered the octagon. 2 quick victories. How much better can you get?
A whole lot better. It just keeps going. It gets worse and worse. Bring them on.
Well, Frank, congratulations. Congratulations to Angelina, the manager. We'll look forward to you again in the next show. Back to you, Mike.
The Brazilians go 2-0. The North American matches I'm speaking of there. The Lions Den loses 2 decisions in all, Jeff. A wonderful night of great fighting again here in Sao Paulo under conditions less than perfect from a television point of view because we're 6,000 miles away. But the one thing that is consistent with this thing that is the only UFC, we have the greatest mixed martial artists on this planet.
Well, certainly it appears as though the best athletes are here. Certainly Frank Shamrock, with that performance, vaults himself into perhaps one of the greatest fighters ever to enter the octagon. This is 4 in a row for him. This is something that Royce Gracie hadn't done. But Royce did it in tournaments. So that's a little bit of a difference, but certainly Frank now has established himself, and I'd like to think that we do have the greatest fighters on earth.
The Alliance goes 2-0, and it was a night that we hope you all enjoyed this evening. It is the Ultimate Fighting Championship. This has been Sao Paulo, Brazil. Once again, we've gone global, and we have had great success. We thank all of our crew at SEG that has worked so hard. And for Jeff Blatnick, my partner, I'm Mike Goldberg, saying so long until we see you next time in Birmingham, Alabama. This has been the Ultimate Fighting Championship.